The Galactic Empire Panics. Is that really a human warship? Part 1. Admiral Zeekther's 17 eyes focused on the holographic display, each one widening in disbelief. The sensor readings made no sense. They couldn't be real. In his 400 cycles of service to the Galactic Empire, he had never seen anything like this. "Run the scan again," he ordered, his voice trembling slightly. The young technician at the console quickly complied, her slender fingers dancing across the controls with practiced ease. The Viridian Empire controlled 300 star systems. Their military might was unmatched across known space. Their sensor technology could detect a single escape pod from halfway across a solar system. Yet here, in the neutral zone between their territory and the unknown regions, something had appeared that defied all logic. "Admiral, the readings are confirmed," the technician reported, her voice barely above a whisper. "The object is approximately 2 kilometers in length. Mass readings suggest dense metallic construction. Energy signatures are off the charts, sir." Zeekther moved closer to the display. The ship, if it could be called that, looked nothing like any vessel in the Empire's extensive database. It was blocky, angular, with none of the elegant curves that characterized proper starship design. Strange markings covered its hull, symbols that the translation matrix couldn't decipher. "Origin?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir." The ship appeared without any quantum wake signature. No hyperspace portal. No wormhole distortion. It just appeared. That was impossible. Every known method of faster-than-light travel left traces. The laws of physics demanded it. Ships couldn't simply materialize in normal space without some kind of detectable transition. "Hail them," Zeekther commanded. "Standard Imperial greeting. Let them know they've entered our patrol zone." The communications officer activated the broad-spectrum transmission array. The message went out in 17 languages, covering every known spacefaring species in the galaxy. Minutes passed. No response came back. "Send a warning," the Admiral said, feeling his primary heart beginning to race. "Inform them that failure to respond will be interpreted as hostile intent." Another transmission. Another long silence. The mysterious ship continued drifting through space, its massive engines dark, showing no sign it had detected their presence at all. Zeekther's mandibles clicked together nervously. He commanded a full battle group, 3 heavy cruisers, 12 destroyers, and his flagship dreadnought, the Pride of Viridia. Together, they possessed enough firepower to level a small moon. Yet something about this silent, dark vessel made his combat instincts scream warnings. "Sir, we're detecting power fluctuations within the vessel," the sensor operator called out. "Multiple energy sources activating. Configuration unknown." On the display, the mysterious ship began to change. Lights flickered along its hull. Sections that had appeared to be solid plating suddenly shifted, revealing what looked like weapon ports. Dozens of them, perhaps hundreds. "Battle stations," Zeekther ordered quietly. Throughout the Pride of Viridia, alarm klaxons began to wail. Crew members rushed to their posts. Weapon systems powered up. Shield generators hummed to life. "Admiral, incoming transmission," the communications officer announced. "Audio only. Language. Attempting translation now." Static filled the bridge, then a voice emerged. It was deep, calm, speaking in measured tones. The translation matrix struggled for a moment before finding patterns it could work with. "This is Captain Sarah Chun of the UNSC Indomitable," the voice said. "We seem to have encountered a navigation error. Can you direct us to the nearest inhabited system? Our star charts appear to be out of date." The bridge fell silent. Every member of Zeekther's crew stared at the holographic display. The translation. Matrix flagged several terms as unknown. UNSC, Indomitable, and most puzzling of all, the concept of out-of-date star charts. How could star charts become outdated? The stars didn't move significantly over centuries. UNSC? Ziegler repeated slowly. Identify your species and your allegiance. Another pause. When the voice returned, it carried a note of confusion. Species? We're human. As for allegiance, we serve the United Nations Space Command. Are we outside of known space? Our last confirmed position was near the Orion Arm. Ziegler accessed the Empire's xenobiology database. He searched for human. No results. He tried United Nations. Nothing. Orion Arm produced only astronomical data about a distant spiral arm of the galaxy, tens of thousands of light years from their current position. Your claimed position is impossible, Ziegler stated flatly. No known species possesses the capability to traverse such distances. Well, we didn't exactly plan this trip, the human voice replied dryly. We were testing a new FTL drive. Something went wrong. Very wrong, apparently. Look, we're not looking for trouble. We just need to figure out where we are and how to get home. The Admiral's tactical officer leaned close. Sir, this could be a trick. A new weapon. We should destroy it before it becomes a threat. Ziegler considered this. The Empire had protocols for dealing with unknown vessels. Overwhelming force was usually the answer. Yet something held him back. Perhaps it was the casual tone in the human's voice. Perhaps it was the sheer impossibility of their claimed journey. Or perhaps it was the gut feeling that attacking the ship would be a terrible mistake. Human vessel, you are ordered to maintain your current position, Ziegler announced. Any aggressive action will be met with immediate military response. We are transmitting navigation data to your current location. Received and understood, Captain Sean replied. We'll stay put. But I have to ask, what species am I speaking with? Your language isn't in our database either. I am Admiral Ziegler of the Viridian Empire. You are speaking with representatives of the dominant military power in this region of space. A long pause followed. Then, incredibly, the human laughed. It was a strange sound, neither threatening nor mocking, just genuinely amused. Well, Admiral, this day just keeps getting weirder. We jump across the galaxy and immediately run into an empire. Typical military luck. Ziegler didn't understand the comment. His confusion deepened when his sensor operator interrupted with an urgent alert. Admiral, we're detecting multiple ships approaching our position. Imperial Navy signatures. It's the Third Fleet, sir. They're responding to our long-range alert. Within minutes, 73 additional warships dropped out of hyperspace around them. The Third Fleet had arrived in force, surrounding the mysterious human vessel with an overwhelming display of military might. Fleet Admiral Corthane's face appeared on the communication screen. She was a veteran of countless campaigns, her scales bearing the scars of battle. Her reputation for ruthless efficiency was known throughout the Empire. Admiral Ziegler, report, she commanded. We detected anomalous readings from this sector. What are we dealing with? An unknown vessel, Fleet Admiral. They claim to be human, from a location tens of thousands of light years distant. Their technology is unfamiliar. Corthane's eyes narrowed. One ship? Yes, Fleet Admiral. Then why haven't you neutralized it? Before Ziegler could answer, Captain Shun's voice cut through the channel. Because your Admiral is smart enough to recognize that shooting first and asking questions later is a good way to start a war nobody wants. The entire Fleet Command Channel erupted in outraged voices. No one spoke to Fleet Admiral Corthane in such a manner. No one dared, but Ziegler noticed something his colleagues missed. When Captain Sean spoke, there was no fear in her voice. No intimidation, despite being surrounded by nearly 100 warships. Just calm, professional confidence. That, more than anything else, terrified him. The Galactic Empire Panics. Is that really a human warship? Part 2. Fleet Admiral Corthin's scaled skin flushed a deep purple, a clear sign of rising anger among her species. Her claws extended slightly as she leaned toward her communication screen. Unknown vessel. You will surrender immediately, or be destroyed, she announced, her voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. You have 60 seconds to comply. Captain Chun's response came almost immediately. With all due respect, Admiral, we're not surrendering anything. We haven't committed any hostile acts. We're just lost. Your very presence here is hostile, Corthin snapped. You have violated Imperial space. Your vessel's capabilities are unknown. These facts alone justify your destruction. Ziegther watched his tactical display carefully. The human ship remained motionless, its weapons still deployed but not charging. Every targeting sensor in the Third Fleet had locked onto the Indomitable, ready to reduce it to atoms at the Fleet Admiral's command. Fleet Admiral, Ziegther interjected carefully. Perhaps we should attempt diplomatic contact first. Gather more information before taking irreversible action. Corthin's glare could have melted hull plating. Admiral Ziegther, your hesitation is noted. Stand down your concerns. I am taking command of this situation. Fleet Admiral, permission to speak freely, another voice interrupted. It was Captain Vel Shane from the heavy cruiser Retribution. Our sensors are picking up unusual energy patterns from the human vessel. The configuration doesn't match any known weapon system, but the power levels are extraordinary. All the more reason to eliminate the threat, Corthin stated firmly. She raised her hand, preparing to give the order to fire. Before you do something you'll regret, Captain Chun said calmly. You should know that my ship's AI has been analyzing your fleet composition. We've identified your command ship, your communication relay patterns, and your weapon charging sequences. If you fire on us, we will defend ourselves. I guarantee you won't like the outcome. Stunned silence filled the fleet command channel. How could they possibly have analyzed the fleet's tactical layout so quickly? The Third Fleet employed the most sophisticated scrambling and masking technology available. Even other Viridian ships had difficulty identifying command structures during combat exercises. Corthin's hand slowly lowered. For the first time in decades, uncertainty crossed her features. You're bluffing. Am I? Chun replied. Your flagship is the Dreadnought, positioned at coordinates 7-3-Mark-18. Your secondary command is aboard the cruiser at 2-9-Mark-40-2. Your communication hub runs through a dedicated relay ship, trying to hide in the sensor shadow of your logistics vessel. Should I continue? Every coordinate was absolutely correct. There felt his blood run cold. No enemy had ever penetrated their tactical screen so thoroughly, so quickly. How? Corthin whispered, her anger momentarily forgotten. We're very good at what we do, Chun answered simply. Now, can we please talk about this like reasonable beings instead of waving weapons at each other? The Fleet Admiral's tactical officer spoke urgently, too quietly for the open channel to pick up, but Ziegther could read her body language. She was advising caution, recommending withdrawal. That alone spoke volumes about what their sensors were detecting from the human vessel. Corthin made her decision. Very well, Captain Chun. You have 10 minutes to explain your presence here. But know this, my fleet remains at full combat readiness. One suspicious move and we will fire. Fair enough, Chun agreed. Here's the situation. 3 days ago, our ship was testing a new faster-than-light drive system. It's experimental technology, based on theories about dimensional folding. During the test, something went catastrophically wrong. We experienced what our engineer called cascade dimensional slip. When we finally managed to stabilize, we found ourselves here, wherever here is. Ziegler accessed his scientific database. Dimensional folding was theoretical physics, even in the Empire. Most scientists considered it impossible. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical. You're claiming you accidentally traveled tens of thousands of light years? Corthan asked skeptically. More like hundreds of thousands, based on the star positions we're seeing, Chun corrected. Our astrophysicist is having a bit of a breakdown about it, honestly. This shouldn't be possible according to our understanding of physics. Yet here we are. Prove it, Corthan demanded. Transmit your navigational logs. Transmitting now, Chun replied. Data began flowing into the fleet's computer systems. Ziegler observed as his science officer analyzed the information. Her expression shifted from skepticism to shock within seconds. Admiral, she reported quietly, the data appears genuine. These navigational records show a journey that violates every known principle of space-time travel. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our database. If this is a fabrication, it's the most sophisticated one ever created. Or it's real, Ziegler suggested. Corthan remained silent, studying the data herself. Finally, she spoke again, her tone marginally less hostile. Captain Chun, what is your vessel's military capacity? That's classified information, Chun responded evenly. But I can tell you we're a research and exploration vessel, not a dedicated warship. We carry defensive capabilities, but our primary mission was scientific study. Defensive capabilities strong enough to threaten an entire fleet? Corthan pressed. A pause. Then Chun's voice returned, and for the first time, there was a hint of steel beneath the calm professionalism. Admiral, humanity learned long ago that the universe is a dangerous place. We don't build ships that can't defend themselves. But we also don't go looking for fights. Right now, we're lost, confused, and very far from home. We'd like help finding our way back. That's all. Ziegler made a decision. Fleet Admiral, request permission to board the human vessel with a diplomatic team. We need more information, and destroying them would eliminate a potentially valuable source of knowledge. Knowledge of what? Corthan challenged. New weapon systems? Unknown technology that could threaten the Empire? Knowledge of an entirely new species, Ziegler countered. A species capable of crossing distances we consider impossible. A species we've never encountered before. The Empire's Xenology Division would consider this the discovery of the century. He could see Corthan considering this. The Fleet Admiral was aggressive, but she wasn't stupid. The potential intelligence value of contact with a completely unknown species was enormous. Captain Chun, Corthan said finally, will you permit a diplomatic team to board your vessel? Under what terms? Chun asked immediately. A small team. No weapons. Scientific and diplomatic personnel only. They will assess your ship and your intentions. And if we refuse? Then we continue this standoff until someone makes a mistake, Corthan stated bluntly. I don't think either of us wants that. Another pause. Ziegler imagined the human captain consulting with her crew, weighing options. Finally, Chun spoke again. Agreed, but with conditions. Your team will be escorted at all times. They will have access only to designated areas. Any attempt to damage our systems or gather military intelligence will result in immediate expulsion. And Admiral Corthan, I want your personal guarantee that this isn't a pretext for some kind of attack. You have my word, Corthan replied. On my honor as a fleet officer. Then we'll prepare to receive your team. Send the coordinates for their shuttle. As the communication channel closed, Ziegler felt a strange mixture of relief and apprehension. They were about to board a vessel from an unknown species, using technology that shouldn't exist. Crewed by beings who showed no fear, despite being outnumbered nearly 100 to 1, his tactical officer approached. Admiral, What if this is a trap? What if the humans are luring us into some kind of ambush? Zeke considered this. Then we'll learn something valuable about them. Either way, we need information. Prepare the diplomatic team. Include xenobiologists, engineers, and linguists. I want to know everything about these humans. Will you be joining the team, sir? Yes, Zeke decided. I need to see this ship with my own eyes. I need to understand what we're dealing with. As preparations began, he couldn't shake a growing sense that this encounter would change everything. The Empire had stood unchallenged for millennia. They had conquered, absorbed, or destroyed every species they'd encountered. They considered themselves the pinnacle of galactic civilization. But now, a single ship had appeared from the darkness of space, crewed by beings who treated an entire battle fleet like a minor inconvenience. Humans, they called themselves. And something told Zeke that the Empire's understanding of the galaxy was about to be fundamentally challenged. The Galactic Empire Panics. Is that really a human warship? Part 3. The shuttle bay doors of the UNSC Indomitable opened like the mouth of some great beast. Admiral Zeke watched through the viewport of his diplomatic shuttle as their small craft glided into the cavernous space. What he saw made all 17 of his eyes widen simultaneously. The bay was enormous, easily large enough to hold a dozen Imperial shuttles. But it wasn't the size that shocked him. It was what filled the space. Smaller craft lined the walls, each one sleek and deadly looking. Maintenance crews moved among them, human figures in what appeared to be work uniforms. They moved with casual efficiency, barely glancing up at the arriving Imperial shuttle. "Sir," his pilot whispered nervously, "those smaller craft, they're armed. Each one appears to carry more firepower than our assault fighters." Zeke had noticed. The humans used their fighter craft as atmospheric transports. What kind of species weaponized everything so heavily? The shuttle landed with barely a tremor. Through the viewport, Zeke saw a reception committee waiting. 5 humans stood at attention, wearing matching dark blue uniforms with strange insignia. One stepped forward as the shuttle's ramp descended. She was tall for a bipedal species, with dark skin and short black hair. Her uniform bore markings that suggested command rank. When she smiled, it revealed flat white teeth. None of the fangs or mandibles common to predator species. "Admiral Zeke, I presume," she said, extending her hand in what the translation matrix identified as a greeting gesture. "I'm Captain Sarah Chun. Welcome aboard the Indomitable." Zeke awkwardly mimicked the gesture, grasping her hand. The human's grip was firm, her skin warm. He released quickly, uncomfortable with the physical contact. "Captain Chun, thank you for receiving us." "Of course. Let me introduce my senior staff." She gestured to each human in turn. "This is Commander Marcus Rodriguez, my executive officer. Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka, Chief Engineer. Dr. Amara Okafor, head of our Xenobiology Division. And Master Chief Sarah O'Brien, head of security." Each human nodded in greeting. Zeke introduced his own team, 3 scientists, 2 diplomatic officers, and 1 security specialist. The humans seemed genuinely curious, studying the Viridians with open interest. "If you'll follow me," Chun said, "I'll give you a tour of our ship." Within the parameters we discussed, of course. They moved through corridors that were wider than Imperial standards, clearly designed for rapid movement of large numbers. The walls were of plain gray metal, interrupted by screens displaying information in the humans' written language. Everything looked utilitarian, functional, built for purpose rather than aesthetics. "Your ship is quite Spartan," one of Zeke's diplomatic officers observed. Chun glanced back with a slight smile. "We're military. Form follows function. Though I'll admit, some of our civilian vessels are more comfortable." "This is a military ship?" Ziegler asked, confused. You said it was for research and exploration. It's both, Rodriguez explained. In the UNSC, we don't have the luxury of separating military and scientific roles. Our exploration vessels need to be able to defend themselves. We've learned that lesson the hard way. They passed crew members in the corridors. Each human stopped and pressed themselves against the wall, allowing the group to pass. Ziegler noticed how they watched the Viridian visitors with curiosity, but no apparent fear. He also noticed that many wore sidearms, even in what appeared to be safe interior spaces. Do all your crew carry weapons? He asked. Only those on duty, O'Brien answered. She was shorter than the others, but something about her bearing suggested dangerous competence. Standard security protocol. You arm your crew inside your own ship? We prepare for every contingency, Sean said simply. It's kept us alive more than once. They reached a large chamber that appeared to be an observation deck. Enormous windows looked out into space, offering a spectacular view of the Viridian fleet surrounding them. Chun gestured for everyone to enter. I thought this would be a good place to talk, she said. We can see each other's positions. No surprises. Clever, Ziegler thought. The humans wanted transparency, or at least the appearance of it. Dr. Oka-4 moved to a terminal and activated a holographic display. Images of stars appeared, constellations Ziegler didn't recognize. This is where we came from, she explained. Our home system, Sol, is located in what we call the Orion arm of the galaxy. According to our calculations, we're now approximately 173,000 light years from our starting position. Ziegler's chief scientist, a brilliant astrophysicist named Tarkol, stepped closer to examine the display. That's impossible. The energy required to traverse such a distance would be greater than the output of an entire star. We know, Tanaka said with a rueful expression. Trust me, we know. Our reactor nearly melted down during the jump. We're still not entirely sure how we survived it. Show me your drive system, Tarkol demanded, her scientific curiosity overriding diplomatic protocols. Chun exchanged glances with her officers. Limited access only. You can see the external components and basic schematics, but not the core technology. I hope you understand. We're asking you to trust us with sensitive military information, Ziegler interjected smoothly. It's reasonable for you to maintain security over your own systems. Tanaka led them to an observation gallery overlooking the ship's engine room. Through reinforced windows, Ziegler saw machinery that made no sense. Massive circular structures surrounded by what appeared to be quantum field generators. Energy conduits thicker than his body pulsed with barely contained power. Beautiful, isn't she? Tanaka said with unmistakable pride. The dimensional fold drive, first of its kind. Probably the last, given what happened. Explain the principles, Tarkol requested, her eyes fixed on the machinery. In simple terms, we create a localized fold in space-time, essentially bringing two distant points in the universe together. In theory, the ship doesn't actually move. We just change where here is relative to there. Tarkol's scales paled. The energy cascade from collapsing such a fold prematurely would be catastrophic. Yes, Tanaka agreed grimly. We nearly found that out firsthand. Something interfered with the fold's stability. Instead of a controlled transit, we got thrown across the galaxy like a stone from a slingshot. As the scientists discussed theoretical physics, Ziegler approached Shun at the observation window. The human captain stood quietly, watching her crew work in the engine room below. You're very calm for someone stranded impossibly far from home, he observed. Chun smiled slightly. Panicking won't help. We focus on what we can control. Finding allies, gathering information, working on a solution. It's what humans do. Your species has faced similar situations before? Worse ones, Chun said softly. Much worse. We're stubborn that way. The universe keeps trying to kill us, and we keep refusing to die. Something in her tone made Ziekthar's tactical instincts activate. What happened to your people? What made you this way? Chun turned to face him fully. Her expression was unreadable. That's a long story, Admiral. The short version? We're from a world that tried to kill us every single day. Predators, disease, natural disasters, extreme climates. We evolved in a nightmare. Then we achieved sentience and started killing each other for resources. We fought wars that nearly destroyed us. We faced extinction events. We crawled our way into space, not because we were curious, but because we knew staying on one world meant eventual death. She paused, looking back at the Viridian fleet visible through the window. And then we found out we weren't alone in the universe. We encountered other species. Some friendly, others she trailed off meaningfully. You fought other species, Ziekthar stated. Yes, and won. We're still here, Chun said simply. That should tell you something. Before Ziekthar could respond, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Chun's communicator activated instantly. Captain, we have a situation, a voice reported urgently. Long-range sensors are detecting multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Configuration matches Imperial design. They're taking up attack positions. Chun's expression hardened. She activated her communicator. This is the captain. All hands to battle stations. Shields up. Weapons hot. But do not fire unless fired upon. Acknowledge. Acknowledged, Captain. Multiple voices responded simultaneously. She turned to Ziekthar, and for the first time, he saw real anger in her eyes. Admiral, I'm going to ask you once. Is this a betrayal? Did your fleet admiral use this diplomatic mission as a distraction? No, Ziekthar said immediately, checking his own communicator. I'm receiving no orders from my command. This wasn't planned. Chun studied him for a long moment, then nodded. I believe you, which means someone else just made a very stupid decision. Come on. You're about to see what a human warship can really do. As they rushed toward the bridge, Ziekthar felt fear grip his hearts. Not fear for himself, but fear for what was about to happen. The fools attacking this ship had no idea what they were unleashing. The Galactic Empire Panics. Is that really a human warship? Part 4. The bridge of the Indomitable was controlled chaos. Crew members moved with practiced precision, each one focused on their station. Display screens showed tactical information that made Ziekthar's combat experience seem primitive. The humans had real-time analysis of every ship in the attacking fleet, tracking weapon charges, shield fluctuations, and movement patterns simultaneously. Captain Chun dropped into her command chair as if she'd never left it. Report. 27 Imperial vessels approaching from multiple vectors, the tactical officer announced. Configuration suggests Second Fleet elements. They're broadcasting surrender demands on all frequencies. The Second Fleet, Ziekthar breathed. That's Grand Admiral Vexcor's command. He's known for aggressive tactics. Aggressive and stupid are two different things, Rodriguez muttered. Chun's eyes remained fixed on the tactical display. Open a channel to the lead ship. All frequencies. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Sarah Chun of the UNSC Indomitable to approaching Imperial vessels. We are currently hosting diplomatic personnel from your Third Fleet. Any attack on this ship will result in their deaths. An immediate military response. Stand down. The response was immediate and hostile. Grand Admiral Vexcor's face appeared on the main screen. He was larger than most Viridians, his scales darker, his manner radiating arrogance. Unknown vessel, you will surrender immediately. Your presence here threatens Imperial security. Your claims of hosting our personnel are irrelevant. You have 30 seconds to comply. Chun's jaw tightened. Admiral, you're making a mistake. The only mistake was allowing you to continue existing this long. Vexcor sneered. 20 seconds. Zeekther stepped forward into the view of the camera. Grand Admiral, this is Admiral Zeekther. I am aboard this vessel with a full diplomatic team. Stand down immediately. That's a direct order. Vexcor's expression shifted to contempt. Admiral Zeekther, you've been compromised. Your judgment is no longer trusted. Fleet Admiral Korthan has been detained for failure to neutralize this threat. I am now in command of all Imperial forces in this sector. A military coup. Zeekther felt sick. The Second Fleet had used this situation to seize power, removing Korthan and taking control. They didn't care about diplomacy or information gathering. They wanted a military victory to legitimize their takeover. 10 seconds, Vexcor announced. Chun looked at Zeekther. Get your people off my bridge. Now, Rodriguez, escort our guests to the shielded observation deck. Captain, we can help, Zeekther protested. Not with what's about to happen, Chun said quietly. Please, Admiral. Trust me. Rodriguez was already moving, gently but firmly guiding the Viridian delegation toward the exit. Zeekther went reluctantly, looking back at the human captain. She sat in her chair, absolutely calm. As the countdown to destruction continued, the observation deck had reinforced windows and additional shielding. Rodriguez sealed them inside, then activated internal communication screens so they could watch what happened next. On the bridge, Chun was giving orders in rapid succession. Helm, evasive pattern Delta. Weapons, target their command ship only. I want surgical precision. No unnecessary casualties. 5 seconds, someone reported. Ma-5X cannons online, the weapons officer called out. Firing solution locked. 3 seconds. Missile tubes loaded with kinetic penetrators. 1 second. The first Imperial ships opened fire. Plasma beams and particle weapons streaked across space toward the Indomitable. The Viridian delegation watched in horror, certain they were about to witness the destruction of the human vessel and their own deaths. Then the impossible happened. The Indomitable moved. Not the sluggish maneuvering of a capital ship, but the lightning-quick dodge of a fighter craft. The massive vessel twisted in space with impossible agility, evading 90% of the incoming fire. The remaining shots splashed against shields that blazed with energy, absorbing impacts that should have torn through the hull. Return fire, Shun ordered calmly. Limited engagement. Disable, don't destroy. The human ship's weapon spoke. Magnetic accelerator cannons hurled projectiles at a significant fraction of light speed. They weren't the energy weapons the Empire used. They were simple kinetic slugs, solid metal traveling at relativistic velocities. The impacts were devastating. The first round struck Vexcor's flagship dead center, punching through shields like they didn't exist, tearing a hole completely through the ship from bow to stern. Secondary explosions rippled along the hull as critical systems failed. Target hit, the weapons officer reported. Their command vessel is disabled. Life support intact, but propulsion and weapons are gone. 6 more rounds fired in quick succession. 6 more Imperial ships were crippled, each shot placed with surgical precision. Nothing vital was destroyed. Crew sections remained pressurized, but every ship hit was rendered completely combat ineffective. The remaining Imperial vessels hesitated, their commanders suddenly understanding they were facing something beyond their comprehension. Cease fire, Chun ordered. She activated the communication channel again, her voice cutting through the stunned silence. Imperial vessels, this is your only warning. We did not want this fight. We do not want to kill you. But we will defend ourselves. Stand down now. or we will eliminate every ship in your fleet." On the observation deck, Zeke watched his species' mighty second fleet in complete disarray. 7 capital ships disabled in less than 30 seconds. The humans had barely scratched the surface of their capabilities. "By the ancestors," Tarkle whispered. "The energy output required for those weapons. The targeting precision. The ship's maneuverability. It's all impossible." "Not impossible," Zeke said quietly. "Just beyond anything we've ever encountered." On the tactical display, the Imperial ships were withdrawing. Not a retreat exactly, but a cautious repositioning. They maintained weapons lock, but made no aggressive moves. Chun's communicator activated. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from Third Fleet. It's Fleet Admiral Corthan." "Put her through," Chun ordered. Corthan's face appeared, and she looked furious. "Captain Chun, I've retaken command of my fleet from Second Fleet officers who attempted a coup. Grand Admiral Vexcor and his co-conspirators are under arrest. I'm ordering all Second Fleet vessels to stand down immediately." "Appreciated, Fleet Admiral," Chun replied. "Your timing is excellent." "I watched your defensive action," Corthan continued. "You showed remarkable restraint. You could have destroyed those ships." "Killing people who are following bad orders isn't justice," Chun said. "It's just more death. We've had enough of that." Corthan studied the human captain with what looked like newfound respect. "Indeed, Captain Chun, I believe it's time we had a more extensive conversation. A real one between equals, not this dance of threats and posturing." "I'd like that," Chun agreed. "Admiral Zeke and his team are still aboard. Perhaps we could meet in neutral territory? Your flagship and mine, single ships, small crews. Actual diplomacy." "Agreed. I'll make arrangements." As the communication ended, Rodriguez returned to the observation deck. "Captain says you're clear to return to the bridge if you want." Zeke moved quickly, his team following. When they reached the bridge, Chun turned in her chair to face them. "I apologize for the violence," she said. "But your Grand Admiral didn't leave me much choice." "You disabled 7 warships in half a minute," Zeke said, still processing what he'd witnessed. "With minimal casualties. Your restraint was extraordinary." "We could have done it in 10 seconds," Tanaka said quietly. "And there wouldn't have been any survivors." The captain ordered limited engagement specifically to avoid that. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. The Empire's military might, built over millennia, suddenly seemed fragile, vulnerable. "What are you?" Zeke asked. Not accusingly. Just genuine curiosity mixed with awe. Chun considered the question carefully. "We're explorers who learned to fight because the universe gave us no choice. We're scientists who build weapons because knowledge without protection is suicide. We're soldiers who study diplomacy because war is expensive and stupid." She paused. "Mostly, we're just tired of being underestimated." "I don't think anyone will make that mistake again," Zeke said. Over the next several hours, arrangements were made. Fleet Admiral Kor then met with Captain Chun aboard a neutral station hastily constructed by both sides. The meeting lasted for 3 days. Zeke was part of the negotiations, watching as 2 very different civilizations found common ground. The humans shared limited technical information, enough to prove they were genuine, but not enough to compromise their security. They explained their history, a species that evolved in harsh conditions, learned to cooperate despite their differences, and eventually reached for the stars. They spoke of wars fought and survived, of near-extinction events overcome, of a stubborn refusal to give up no matter how impossible the odds in return. The Viridians shared star charts, information about other species, and offered assistance in helping the humans find their way home. It would take time. The dimensional drive needed extensive repairs. But it was possible. During one quiet moment, Corthan approached Ziegler privately. "You were right to hesitate," she said. "If you had attacked when I first ordered it, we might have started a war we couldn't win."